Kari Lake, who's running for Arizona Senator. Kari, thank you. But before we get into it, let's show the audience, remind the audience one more time about what she said about her job at the border. Listen.
It's no secret that we have a broken immigration system. Short term, we need a safe, orderly, and humane border policy. And long term, we need to invest in the root causes of migration. But the bottom line, Congress needs to act. Come on, participate in the solution instead of political gamesmanship.
So, Kari, and then, you know, one of her famous answers, don't. I mean, so they keep using it. Just don't come. Kari, your thoughts on that?
My advice to Kamala Harris is don't do any more interviews. You don't look good when you do it because it looks like you don't know what the heck you're talking about. I invite her to the Arizona border. We had 150,000 people pour across in 3 months across the Arizona border. That's more people than live in Coconino County, which is a massive county encompassing Flagstaff and dozens of other towns and cities. She is completely in over her head. She doesn't understand what's happening at the border. We do have an orderly process for people to come in. It's called our legal immigration process. And the way you stop what's happening, she talked about the migrant flow, is you put out a very strong message to the world that our border is closed to illegal activity. You put out a message that we're going after you to the cartels, and you do exactly what President Trump did. That's how you solve the problem. It can be solved in one day with President Trump's policies. If Joe Biden and Kamala Harris actually cared about our border, actually cared about the people of this country, they would shut it down now. And they would say, don't, to the people who are going to be coming across our border.
Yeah, she wasn't, those were no non-answers. And again, very fascinating to me to see the 60 Minutes interviewer ask, you know, what happens if Joe isn't the one in 2024 for whatever reason, incapacitated or worse? And she kind of laughed it off like, oh, he'll be there. But then they went one step further, Kari, and said, yeah, but the donors don't like you. They don't want to support you as the potential 2024 candidate. What are your thoughts on what happens on the left side?
I think they're already starting to make some plays over there and moves. I mean, you're seeing Gavin Newsom, who has been a complete disaster to the state of California. He's the reason we have the saying, don't California our Arizona. And you can apply that to all 49 states outside of California. Don't California our Iowa, our Florida, our you name it. People are so outraged by what's happened to California at the hands of Gavin Newsom. But yet the Democrats are trying to lay the groundwork for him to run. It's pretty obvious if you're watching him. He's over there in China meeting with the guy who will really be in control of the Democrat Party. And we're just watching as they're starting to get their chess pieces on the board and move around, because I think they know that Joe Biden is going to be such a disaster that the Democrat Party will collapse if he is on the ticket. I don't know who it's going to be ultimately, but my bet is that Gavin Newsom is starting to move in. They realize that not just Joe Biden, but Kamala Harris are disastrous, and the voters just will not vote for those two.
Newsom is the fairly obvious one. He's making global trips, overseas trips for the governor of the state of California doing that. It's very interesting. Again, I was just talking to John Jr. just before this, and I'm concerned about Michelle Obama, because I believe the Obamas never wanted to give up control and may never have actually given up control of the Democrat Party and policy.
Well, what they can't run from, they can change the person who's on the ballot, but they can't run from their absolutely disastrous policies that have put every single American in worse shape than they were 4 years ago. You ask anybody, whether they're Democrat, Independent, or Republican, were you in better shape financially 4 years ago? And everybody in this country would say yes. I could afford to put gas in the car. I could afford to put food on the table. My pay was actually going further. We actually had an energy policy that made us independent, not reliant on the Middle East, which is a national security problem. We had a border that was secure, and our kids were doing better. And now we're in a world of hurt because of these Democrat policies. So I don't care who you put on the Democrat ticket, Americans are waking up to the fact that Democrat policies hurt us and America First Republican policies help us. And you don't have to love the messenger. I mean, I know some people think President Trump rubs them the wrong way. I happen to love the guy. I think he's been incredible. But it doesn't matter whether you like the personality. It's the policies that help make us a prosperous nation and help make us prosperous people. And we need to get those back in because we're on the verge, if we're not already in World War III, we're on the verge of it starting, and it's going to become a hot war. And there's one guy I know who can put an end to that on day one, and his name is Donald J. Trump. And we need to get him in the White House. We need all of these other people who are trying to get on the ticket and try to be the Republican nominee to do the right thing and back out. They're polling at single digits. This is a vanity play for them. And we need to get behind President Trump so we can defeat the Democrats and restore a prosperous America to the people.
Kari Lake, really good having you. Appreciate that and very cogent thoughts. I appreciate your time, Kari.
Thank you, Eric.